Every year, the world generates over 2 billion tons of municipal solid waste. But one small country has
Sweden sends less than 1% of its waste to landfills. The rest is meticulously converted into heat and electricity for its citizens.
Open landfills are not just climate disasters. They are toxic nightmares for the communities living beside them.
Countries like the UK, Norway, and Italy literally pay Sweden to take their trash away.
In densely populated nations, there is simply no space left to bury garbage. In the United States, cheap land makes landfills the default option. But burying waste is a lost opportunity. Each ton of trash contains hidden energy.
This is where the waste-to-energy plant changes everything. It doesn't just bury the problem kernel. It destroys the toxins.
The journey begins as municipal garbage trucks arrive at the plant's weighbridge, each load carefully measured and logged.
Inside the reception hall, the truck backs up to the tipping floor and raises its bed, releasing a fresh avalanche of mixed municipal waste. A front-end loader immediately pushes the fresh pile toward the towering waste bunker, where it will be mixed and aged for 7 days.
The waste bunker is 30 meters deep, a vast cathedral of garbage, where different
An overhead crane, operated from a glass booth, swings into action. Its massive orange claw descends.
The claw's steel teeth bite deep into the compacted waste, gripping a tangled mass of mattresses, plastic bales, and wet paper.
The crane traverses horizontally across the bunker, carrying its cargo toward the furnace feed hopper. At the hopper, the claw releases its load. The waste plummets 5 meters into the chute, beginning its journey through the mechanical manufacturing pipeline. First, the mixed waste passes through a heavy-duty shredder, reducing it to a uniform 50mm feed for stable combustion.
On the moving grate, the fuel moves through 3 controlled zones: drying, ignition, and burnout out.
Water circulating through the furnace's membrane walls absorbs intense radiant heat, turning into a steam-water mixture under high pressure.
Inside the steam drum, water is separated and recirculated, while dry saturated steam enters the superheater, reaching 400 degrees Celsius. In the flue gas path, a urea solution is injected at 900 degrees Celsius to break down harmful nitrogen oxides into nitrogen and water.
Lime slurry neutralizes acid gases like hydrogen chloride and sulfur dioxide, while activated carbon captures mercury and dioxins from the gas stream.
The remaining fine ash is captured by massive fabric filter bags, leaving the flue gas virtually particle-free before it exits the stack. Superheated steam rushes through the turbine, expanding across multiple blade stages to spin the rotor at 3,000 revolutions per minute. Exhaust steam enters the condenser, where cooling water turns it back into liquid, creating a powerful vacuum that increases turbine efficiency. The turbine shaft drives the generator rotor, inducing an electric current pot. The power then passes through a step-up transformer, synchronizing with the grid. Bottom ash is quenched in water, and magnetic separators recover valuable ferrous metals metalled, completing the full circle from waste to resources. But not all waste is created equal. Before the shredder, a critical sorting step removes materials that cannot be burned.
Paper and cardboard are among the cleanest fuels, with high energy value and minimal residue. Plastics like PET, HDPE, and PP are energy-rich. They burn hot and fast, making them ideal fuel. PVC is strictly excluded. Burning it releases hydrogen chloride gas, which becomes corrosive hydrochloric acid.
Lithium-ion batteries are explosive. Even a single punctured cell can trigger a chain reaction of fire and toxic smoke. E-waste contains heavy metals like lead, mercury, and cadmium. When burned, these become airborne toxins. Glass is inert but melts at furnace temperatures, forming a sticky slag that damages the grate and reduces airflow.
Food waste and green garden clippings have high moisture and low energy. They don't burn well and reduce efficiency.
Ferrous metals are removed early by overhead magnets towel. They don't belong in the furnace. They belong in the recycling stream.
The human eye remains the most reliable tool for quality control, catching hazardous items that machines miss. With hazardous and low-value materials removed, the sorted, shredded, and homogenized fuel is finally...
But the electricity is only half the story. The true genius of the Swedish system is district heating.
A network of underground pipes carries hot water from the plant directly into city homes and office buildings.
At the building level, a heat exchanger transfers the district water's energy into the internal heating loop.
For the residents, it's invisible comfort. Just a warm radiator, a hot shower, and no need to worry about heating bills.
Every connection is metered, and the plant knows exactly how much heat each building consumes in real time. This efficiency makes the economics work present. Sweden actually ran out of domestic trash and started importing it as fuel. Ships arrive weekly from across Europe, unloading container after container of processed municipal waste.
It's a closed loop. Europe's trash fuels Sweden's homes, and the emissions are scrubbed clean. The system is 90% efficient, far better than traditional fossil fuel plants.
This is the Swedish model, turning a global waste crisis into a sustainable, circular resource for millions.
Around the world, countries are reimagining waste-to-energy plants as community assets, not just industrial facilities.
Its roof is a ski slope, open year-round, with a conveyor lift taking skiers back to the top.
Inside, the lobby is a public gathering space. Educational displays show the plant's inner workings in real time.
Half a world away, China took a different path, prioritized scale over integration to handle rapid urbanization. Inside, the main hall is cathedral-like. 6 furnace lines stretch across the length, each capable of processing 800 tons per day. While CopenHill prioritizes public experience, Shenzhen prioritizes sheer processing capacity.
Both plants achieve the same environmental goal, diverting waste from landfills and generating clean energy.
Shenzhen feeds waste in through massive underground conveyors, while CopenHill uses above-ground truck access. Despite the scale difference, both plants are triumphs of modern engineering, turning trash into value. But the majority of the world still chooses the cheapest option, burying trash in massive, unregulated landfills.
In the United States, the economics of waste are completely inverted. Land is abundant, and landfills are cheap.
The average tipping fee at a U.S. landfill is around $40 per ton, a fraction of the cost of building and operating a waste-to-energy plant.
Building a waste-to-energy plant costs hundreds of millions of dollars, at a hard sell when a landfill expansion costs a fraction of that.
Several U.S. waste-to-energy plants have already closed due to high maintenance costs and falling energy prices.
Without district heating infrastructure, most of the heat generated by a U.S. plant.
NIMBYism, not in my backyard faith, is another major hurdle. No community wants a plant, but they also don't want the landfill.
As a result, the U.S. recycling rate has stalled, and a growing percentage of waste is simply being buried. This is the paradox of waste. The cheapest solution today creates the most expensive problems tomorrow.
Waste to energy is not the final solution. It is a bridge of a way to deal with the trash we already produce. Microplastics are already in our air, our water, and even our blood. Even the cleanest plant cannot undo the harm of creating waste in the first place.
The fundamental equation is simple. Less consumption means less waste. A circular economy is the goal, where waste is designed out of the system from the very beginning.
Waste to energy is a powerful tool, but it is not the ultimate answer.
The real solution is not what we burn. It's what we choose not to produce.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Educational content generated entirely using AI tools, scripting, voice design, and animations are original AI creations powered by Google AI Studio and VO3. No copyright content or footage has been used, designed for informative purposes only. All videos are AI simulated and not intended to represent real footage.